Hello and welcome to Cinelovers. I'm Jamie,
I'm Mercedes.
and we're here to talk to you about film.
So, this is our brand new podcast, Cinelovers, because we are cine lovers. Not only do we love cinema, but we are lovers. Wow. We met whilst working at HMV and fell in love over our love on film. And now we'd like to share that passion for film with you guys. So we're going to be talking about all the film news, up and coming releases, what we think of things that have been seen when we finally go to the cinema, our reviews, recommendations, and all those kinds of things. So a quick introduction to kind of what we both are into. As I said, I'm Mercedes, so I love most films, all films really, all genres. Big sci-fi fan, Star Wars fan, grew up watching Star Wars with my dad. Indie, anything Steven Spielberg, John Williams, and I'm a big 80s, 90s kind of girl. So yeah, Jamie?
Yes, and I have watched horror films basically all my life. I'm a massive horror fan, especially into slasher. I have a degree in script writing for stage, screen, and gaming, so I like to think that I know a little bit about film. So yeah, my favourite film of all time is Back to the Future. There you go, that's me.
Oh yeah, favourite films like Die Hard, Willy, Jurassic Park. Oh yeah, I did do media at A-level, so I know a little bit too.
Okay.
Yeah. So getting on to what things are going on at the moment. So obviously last year was very, very difficult for film, wasn't it? Obviously being cinema lovers, we love going to the cinema multiple times a week. And when lockdown came in and the cinemas were closed, oh my god, absolute travesty. So obviously the majority of the year they have been closed. We did get that brief little bit of time in the summer, didn't we? Where we had about 3-4 films that came out and we were looking to go and see 2 at the cinema. So we made the most of that for sure. But what were you most looking forward to last year that we did not get? What was your most anticipated film?
Well, I think most people know how much of a Tom Cruise lover I am.
Yeah.
So obviously it had to be Maverick, especially because of the pushbacks as well. We had Maverick that was supposed to come out this year, and Maverick last year, and a Mission Impossible this year, but because obviously that's all been pushed back now. So Maverick should be out this year in December, but Mission Impossible 7 has been pushed to 2022, and a Mission Impossible 8 to 2023. So my most anticipated film was Maverick. So unfortunately, we did not get that.
No, mine was also Maverick. I have to say, grew up watching Top Gun with mum and dad, and absolutely adore it. Can't wait for that to finally see it. But also was really looking forward to Wonder Woman 1984, and I was determined to see that in the cinema. But unfortunately, that did not happen. I kept saying, I'm going to wait, but it just wasn't going to be possible. So, what did happen last year with film? What did we actually get? Let's have a look. So we did eventually get Wonder Woman 1984, but only on streaming release. But it was still fantastic fun. Not as amazing as I thought it was going to be. It was a bit cheesy in some parts, but I did really enjoy Kristen Wiig as Barbara. She was really fun. I would have liked to have seen her character be more of the big villain, really. Pedro Pascal was okay, but yeah, I enjoyed Barbara's character more, and the interesting way they brought Steve Trevor back, as we all knew was coming back from the trailer. Did not expect it to be that like that. Very, very emotional film. Very colourful. Love the 80s, obviously. But yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah, I think when we're talking about the films that we have missed, obviously everything that went on to on demand. So obviously due to no cinemas, we had, I know, like Justice League, the Snyder Cut came out this year. So did Nomadland, went on to Disney Plus on April 30th. Sound of Metal, Amazon. Promising Woman, Sky Cinema. Mulan, Disney Plus, and then Tenet's just gone into Sky Cinema now as well. But luckily, we did get to see Tenet in the cinema.
We did, yeah.
Tenet and Bill and Ted were the 2 films that we did manage to go and watch. Everything else was unfortunately on demand whilst we had to wait for all of that to happen. Big one for me last year, my film of the year was Palm Springs. When that went onto Amazon Prime this year, that was on Hulu.
Palm Springs.
That was on Hulu. Again, so because of the loss of cinema, everything had to go streaming on demand as well. I think the it's a interesting debate in regards to what's going to happen with the cinema at the moment, because everything that was happening with films. So they had the whole HBO Max and Sky Cinema debate. So basically, for people that don't know, any films that were supposed to come out in the cinema, most of the films owned by Warner Brothers was just going to get released on HBO Max on the same day as the cinema gets released in America. So America still have their cinemas open now anyway, but they didn't at the time. So what they would do in the UK, because there's no cinemas, is they would charge you $15.99 to rent the movie for 7 days. I can see some positives to that, and I can see some negatives. So, say for example, for a couple of Cinelovers like here, we have limitless tickets, which is $17.99 each. Or if you go to your local, say Blackpool cinema, it's £5 for a ticket. So that's £10 a ticket for two of us. So why would we want to rent a film for 7 days at $15.99? However, with other films that was along this topic in the Sky Cinemas in England, we had Godzilla versus Kong, we had Wonder Woman 84, Tom and Jerry for some examples on there. All of these films, I would say most of them are family orientated films. So if you're thinking of a family of 4, 2 adults, 2 children that want to go to the cinema paying £5 a ticket each, that's £20. It makes sense for you guys to obviously look to rent those movies at $15.99, because you are saving yourselves money, and then you can watch it as much as you want over that week as well, so you can keep the kids entertained during lockdown. But yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't a thing for Cinelovers like ourselves that we could actually benefit from, unfortunately. But luckily, stuff like Mulan and I know there's other films like I said, Nomadland, or other films that are coming out later this year as well, are going straight onto Disney Plus. I know Mulan had the same premiere access, but that was $19.99, which is the kind of same premise as well. Sky Cinema premiere, but hopefully
it did eventually come.
Yeah, like I said, it was on there for the first few months, and then it would go on to there. So it's a cinema. Whether this is going to be the future, I don't know. I mean, you can't beat that experience of the cinema, going out and watching a film. There are certain films, which is why stuff got pushed back, like Tenet. You want to see Tenet on the big screen. It's a visual spectacle. You want to go see Maverick at the cinema. You want to go see these type of films because they are for the cinema. You don't want to watch them at home. So you can see why these films were pushed back and not put on these HBO Max or these streaming platforms. So it's an interesting debate, which I'm sure we could probably get into another time. The cinema debate, whether this is the death of the cinema, with HBO Max having every Warner Brothers movie going onto HBO Max and the cinema on the same day. So Mortal Kombat recently, you've got other films coming out later this year, which we'll talk about later, like Matrix 4, In the Heights. All of these films are going straight onto HBO Max on the same day they're released in the cinema. So it's very intriguing for what's going to happen with cinemas.
I think you'll definitely get a split. There'll be the kinds of people who do prefer to watch films at home, and there'll be the kinds of people who have probably stopped going to cinema that much anyway over the years. As we all know, cinema numbers have dropped, you know, so they'll be the kind of people who prefer to do things at home. And if they have got a big family, then I suppose it's worth it money wise, and you can all just relax and you're not having to wrangle the kids. Yeah, get a takeaway. You're not having to wrangle the kids at the cinema. But you know, for us,
you can pause it whenever you want.
You can. But for us, it's an experience, and I love that evening out and going and getting your popcorn and chatting to the guys at the cinema. You know, obviously we're regular goers, so we get to know the people that work at our local cinema, and it's great. And you know, those feelings are great when you get to be in the cinema on your own as well, when nobody else has gone to see it, and you know, it's going to that big dark room and just losing yourself with your popcorn. And I don't think it will die. We may get a reduction in the amount of cinemas, but I would like to think that it would continue.
I think realistically, what I would probably see happening would be cinemas would only be available in big cities.
Yeah.
I know, obviously, in Blackpool we're supposed to get in the IMAX later this year, so that would be absolutely phenomenal when that happens. But whether it's just cinemas are only going to be in select towns or cities and not going to be everywhere, whether there might only be one, it might only be Odeon and View and Cineworld don't exist anymore. They just joined to make the cinema. You don't know, do you? So there's all different stuff that they can do. But like I said, only time will tell after this if we go into another recession or anything happens. So you don't know, do you? So
I just want to take a quick minute to talk about Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Okay.
Wild Stallions! Because, you know, I was so excited about this film. I'd been excited about it like my whole life, and we finally got it. And last year I was determined again to see it at the cinema, and we did. And I think there's only a few people in the cinema, but it was brilliant. So much fun. Not an amazing film, but just so much fun. Full of nostalgia. Great characters. The girls that were playing the daughters, Billy and Thea. Oh my god, they were brilliant. Samara Weaving, that's it. Yeah. I can't remember the other girl's name, but they were absolutely brilliant. They really got their characters down. I do wish they hadn't replaced the princesses, the actresses, but you know, sometimes you just have to. And it was great to obviously have a bit of Rufus in there and Death as well. So yeah, Wild Stallions forever, absolutely. But yeah, my film of the year has got to be Promising Young Woman. Absolutely. Palm Springs was great. I did really enjoy that. But for me, Promising Young Woman just blew me out of the water. I did not expect it to be as good as it was. Not just in the story, but visually, it was stunning. The use of colour was just absolutely beautiful. The pastels, but also the brights, the framing of certain things, and the casting I thought was brilliant. From all the minor characters up, really, and the way it ended. And yeah, Bo Burnham, we were a big Bo Burnham fans in this house. Not a lot of people have heard of him in this country, I don't think, but he's a great stand-up comedian, and he was playing the love interest in Promising Young Woman. And there's a great scene with him in the little convenience store.
Yes.
So definitely we would recommend go and watch Promising Young Woman. Everybody needs to see it. Obviously Nomadland dominated at the Oscars. Nothing dominated. It only got one more than every other film, but it won obviously the top ones of best film, best actress, and best director. So yeah. But the question is, how would the awards ceremonies have looked if we hadn't have had lockdown and reduction in the amount of films that came out? Do we think that those films would have been nominated necessarily? There's a lot of talk that Promising Young Woman would have been nominated.
It depends. You've only got to look at the films that were supposed to come out this year. I mean, if we look at the films that are still to come out, I think half of these films, with West Side Story was supposed to come out December 2020. Ghostbusters Afterlife was supposed to come. I don't think that's going to be an Oscar film anyway.
No.
But Maverick was supposed to be released last year as well. There's so many different films that were supposed to be released over the last year, but didn't come out. But luckily, we get to look forward to them this year.
Yes.
Whether some of them would have been in the Oscar talk, I don't know. I think West Side Story probably would have.
In the Heights, I think.
Well, In the Heights is coming out this year.
Yeah,
that's fine. But West Side Story, yeah, I think definitely would have been Oscar nominated. It's a Steven Spielberg movie, and obviously, bar the Post, most of his films are nominated for Best Picture. I know, obviously, with the whole Ansel Elgort kind of thing going on at the moment as well, whether it would have actually been nominated for an Oscar, I don't know, because you know the Oscars are kind of political that way. But you're looking at some of the films. I mean, we've only like touched upon some of them here with Maverick, The Suicide Squad, Ghostbusters Afterlife, Space Jam: A New Legacy, Cruella, Luca, In the Heights, West Side Story. These are some of the films that are going to be coming out over the next few months, which again, you're seeing these big releases coming out. Again, I know we talk about In the Heights and Space Jam and The Suicide Squad are all HBO Max. So they're all going Warner Brothers straight onto there as well with the same cinema release. But in the UK, we don't have HBO Max, so they're going to only be released in the cinema over here within the UK. So we are getting these big films again. Luca and Cruella, Disney Plus. They'll be going straight onto there as well. Maybe they'll do a cinema release to coincide, because I assume most of them are going to be Premier Access as well, where you have to pay that $19.99. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see them in the cinema as well.
Because I don't want to have to wait. Everybody else who can afford it to be able to watch it first of all, and then have to wait until it comes to the cinema until we can go. So I would hope that they would release them at the cinema at the same time. I don't see why they wouldn't. But yeah, obviously our most anticipated film is probably going to be Maverick then. But I am really excited for In the Heights, and I think that needs to be seen on a big screen as well, because it just looks so big and extravagant and spectacular, and
Well, it's been advertised as the event of the summer.
Well,
so.
I would say so. Yeah, it looks very summery. And of course, what's the actor's
Anthony
name?
Ramos.
Anthony Ramos. Yeah, who of course found fame from Hamilton, which was also, they're both written by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah.
So I wasn't a big Hamilton fan. I'm not gonna lie. It's not really for me. We watched it. There was a couple of little bits I enjoyed, but In the Heights, I'm actually really looking forward to.
Yeah, especially directed by John M. Chu as well. Obviously, did Crazy Rich Asians, which is a great movie. So it's I'm looking forward to In the Heights. For anyone that listens to the Greatest Movie Ever podcast, it was my #1 overall draft pick to be the highest rated film of the year. So we'll find out on June 11th when it comes out. I believe it is June 11th. So we'll find out.
Yep. Definitely. What about West Side Story though? I know you're really looking forward to that. Big lover of the original.
Well, like I said, I absolutely adore the original West Side Story film. It's a great stage musical as well, but a little bit skeptical, to be completely honest. Like I said, Ansel Elgort, don't know if he can sing. I assume he can if he's in this role. It should be Oscar bait to a degree. I know the original film, when it was released in 1961, did win a lot of awards. So I'll be very surprised if it's not nominated for an award. But I think who else is in it? You got Rachel Zegler. Is it Rachel Zegler, sorry. And is it Maddie Ziegler, who's the Sia girl, is in it as well as Velma. And then obviously Ansel Elgort. So it's an interesting one. I'm not sure why they remade it. I think it's a great movie that's still you can watch today. I love West Side Story. So
I'm looking forward to the remake. Because even though I appreciate the original, it's not really for me. It doesn't grasp me as much. But this looks big and and really, really musical. Even though the other was musical, obviously, I don't know. There's something about it that just draws me in a bit more. I do like Ansel. Obviously, we don't know what's going on there with the situation. I don't judge people about things until they're convicted of things. So I'm not going to weigh in on that. But for his acting, I do enjoy watching him. I'm looking forward to the film. Obviously, it's Spielberg, so excited for more Spielberg, that's for sure. But I think for me as well, the Suicide Squad is something that I'm particularly looking forward to. We're really big DC fans as well, both of us. Obviously, Snyder Cut came in and oh my god, absolutely blew us away. What a film. Like the original Justice League doesn't even exist anymore. Like we could not even talk about that film anymore. Cannot wait for our steelbooks to arrive of Snyder Cut. Couple of weeks, yeah, not too far away now. I'm so excited, but it just left so much wide open as well for the future of what could potentially be the Snyderverse, which please come back. We are begging you to come back, that's for sure. I want more Batfleck, that's for sure. And just all of it. But yeah, the Suicide Squad is obviously and aside from that, and it's kind of a reboot, that's what they're calling it, of Suicide Squad, with some of the same characters, but a lot of new. It's like the biggest lineup, since I don't even know what.
It's a very big cast. Like I said,
such a large cast.
Obviously, you've got Margot Robbie coming back as Harley Quinn and Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, and then you've got Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
You've got John Cena, Idris Elba.
Had his name in my head before. Doctor Who.
Or Peter Capaldi.
Yeah. Sean Gunn.
Yeah,
of course, James is directing it.
James Gunn.
And James Gunn said when put out posters for this that nobody's safe. Don't get too attached. Anybody could go at any minute. That's the beauty of having such a large cast.
First 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I'm so super excited about that. Oh, we had Birds of Prey last year as well. Loved Birds of Prey. That was kick ass. Adore Margot. Lots of pink and sparkles and roller skates, but also people's faces being peeled off by Ewan McGregor. That was delightful. But yeah, so yeah, super excited about the Suicide Squad. Not too sure how I'm feeling about Space Jam right now. I don't know if you're excited about it, but I think
it looks like a little bit like Ready Player One, the way it is, because it's more digitalized and it's more computer animated or kind of thing. So I think looking at the trailer of Space Jam: A New Legacy, they've got a lot of Warner Brothers in there. So if you saw the trailer, when they're having the big game, they've got loads of audience around watching the game, and it's actually a lot of them. There's a lot of hidden Easter eggs in there. You've got Pennywise, a dancing clown, is in there.
Is he?
Yeah, you've got the Roogs from Clockwork Orange are in there.
Oh,
The Droogs, sorry, from Clockwork Orange are in there. You've got, I'm trying to think, there was a load of Easter eggs in the Space Jam 2. In there, there's so many. Oh yeah, Jim Carrey came back to play the mask as well.
Oh.
In that, so there's loads of different cameos in there, which is going to be great. So it's going to be some fun. Obviously, I adore Space Jam. Like I said, it's 25 years ago since it came out. When this film's going to obviously have its one. Michael Jordan, obviously the greatest basketball player ever. LeBron James, one of the greatest basketball players ever. So I hope it's going to be fun. I assume it is. I don't think it's ever going to win an Oscar or be like the movie of the year, but it's just going to be stupid fun for 90 minutes, isn't it?
Bit of nostalgia.
Yeah,
you know what?
maybe someone.
I feel like it's coming back. We've not had him for a long time, but it came out for Sonic, and that was the kind of a return of the original Jim Carrey. I enjoyed it.
Maybe we'll find out.
Back. I miss him. I do. Yeah. He was our childhood. He was. I'm looking forward to Ghostbusters though. Obviously, most people didn't enjoy the female Ghostbusters reboot thing. I did enjoy it. It was a bit of fun, and Chris Hemsworth was hilarious. But obviously, this is harking back to now, drawing back to the original 2 films and following on from that. I'm excited because it's by the same people, and I like that we haven't seen too much yet. And I don't think they're going to show us too much until we actually get the film. Because I hate trailers giving you everything. Obviously, we had that little teaser with Paul Rudd in the convenience store with the little mini thingy marshmallow men, which was really fun. So yeah, I can't wait to see it. Paul Rudd's amazing as well. So
yeah, it's a good cast as well, isn't it? Stranger Things.
Yeah, I forgot his name now. Yeah, the guy that plays Finn Wolfhard. Yeah, no, he's called Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah,
he plays Mike. He's called Finn Wolfhard. Plays Mike. Yeah, he'll be good.
And there has been, obviously, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but there has been rumors that some people will be returning from the original Ghostbusters film.
Exciting! I can't wait. What else have we got left on there? Luca. It's a weird one, this. If you've seen the trailer, it's very strange looking, but fantastical as Disney is. 2 young mermen type creatures.
Merman.
They come up from the sea and transform into human children, to go and frolic and have a little summer in what looks to be somewhere like Spain or Italy or something. And then they meet some crazy human girl and go on a bit of an adventure. Looks fun. I shall wait till I see it. Disney's done quite well this year though. I did really, really enjoy Raya and The Last Dragon. Really, really good. Again, beautiful colours and great story, and great characters, stunning. So
like I said last year, you had Onward and you also had Soul as well.
Oh yeah, Soul. Yeah, Soul was good, but Onward wipes the floor with it. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what you say, Academy. Onward's amazing. So yeah, that's what we've got coming out this year. Normal films wise, but obviously we have got the big ones, which is going to dominate, obviously, and that would be Marvel Phase 4. So the trailer, obviously, that we had for, it was the story of the Marvel universe so far, and then it led on to kind of mini trailers for Phase 4. We just watched that today, twice in a row. I need to watch it again and again and again and again. I'm so excited. I got so many goosebumps and hair standing up on my arms from just remembering what we have had so far, and that moment in the cinema that we all had. The few moments that we all had. Obviously, the first one being
on your left.
Yeah, the biggest one being that. But also Cap grabbing Mjolnir, the portals emerging generally. all of it. Oh God, we've been treated, that is for sure, by Marvel, and it seems we have more treats to come. What do you think?
Yeah, I think just make the cash cow, don't you? I mean, just milk it as much as you can, really.
Negative.
I mean, like you said, I think the only problem with cinema is I'm not agreeing with Scorsese. They are, some of them are really good films, but
yeah,
it's just diluting cinema. It's just literally just superhero after superhero after superhero. You look at films that are coming out, it's always like, oh, there's a superhero film this week. What do you want to go see? Do you want to watch this superhero film? Well, let's go watch this superhero film. I mean, there's nothing else really big, that shall we say.
It's sort of what's been good about 2020 is that all of that went away, kind of for the most part, and like buried itself underground, and we got all these other films coming out, and I hope more people saw them than they would have usually done. Things like Sound of Metal, Promising Young Woman, Nomadland, The Father, they were all brilliant and definitely Oscar worthy. So you know, those sort of things did get noticed a bit more this year. But I love the superhero films. I love Marvel. I love DC even more. Obviously, but I want them there. I do want them there. It's just we just need that nice balance of having the other stories as well.
Yeah, so. And I think there's so much that you can only do with the main characters. Like I said, I think Thor would be the longest reigning one now when Love and Thunder comes out in 2022.
I'll wait for that.
Yeah. You've got Spider-Man, which will be his trilogy films coming out in December this year. And then you've got all these people that no one's ever heard of, like Eternals and Shang-Chi. And it's just like I said, you've got other stuff as well with TV coming in with Miss Marvel and She-Hulk, all these smaller characters like Ant-Man. No one knew who Ant-Man was, but you know, we loved him because it's Paul Rudd.
I didn't know much about Iron Man and Captain America really before the films came out. I hadn't, because I was a DC guy. I grew up with, like most people, with Batman and Superman. Obviously, you'd have heard of the Hulk. But until the film Iron Man came out back in, God, what even was it now? It was 2 years ago now. I hadn't heard of Iron Man, I don't think. Maybe on the precipice. I'd heard of Thor. But then I got to know these characters and I grew to love them. I mean, the first thing I ever heard of Captain America was I was 16 in Universal Islands of Adventure with my dad. And there was a guy, obviously it was all the superhero land, and there's a guy there in the original Captain America costume. And my dad got really excited. He's like, oh my God, it's Captain America. And I was like, who? I don't even know who this guy is. And he was excited to have a picture with him. And then like 6 or something years later, there's Chris Evans, Captain America, looking amazing and getting me excited. So yeah, I think I'm excited again that there's these other characters that we've never heard of, like Shang-Chi and the Eternals, and I'm excited to learn about who they are and what their powers are. You know, I don't want to keep seeing the same rehash of more. I love the new Spider-Man, but I don't want to keep getting new and different Spider-Mans again and again and again.
I think that's the good thing with Spider-Man Homecoming. They didn't have to do the Uncle Ben death scene again, because I think Sony, what they did, they had the original trilogy with Tobey Maguire in 2002, and then The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. And then it was like, well, I'm just going to remake it and do the same story again like 10 years later.
Yeah.
Whereas when you got Homecoming, you didn't need that because everybody knows Spider-Man's origins. Everybody knows he got bit by a radioactive spider and then he let a robber go. And then his Uncle Ben died and he feels guilty for it. So that's why he becomes like this. Becomes a superhero to fight crime. Everybody knows that. Like, I don't think there's anything else. Everyone knows Martha and whatever his dad's called, Thomas Wayne gets shot. Everybody knows that. It's why you don't need to see it all the time. So these origin stories, I think they're the two most famous origin stories within all of comic books, Spider-Man's.
And Superman, you get it every time with Superman. You got it again with Henry, you know, the origin.
That's different though, because you had Superman in 1978 and then Man of Steel in 2013. There's like a 40-year difference there. Yeah, I'm talking 10 years between Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man.
No, I know.
So I mean, they are talking about rebooting Superman at some point, obviously without Henry Cavill. But again, we don't know what's going on because DC are looking to go a different way now, obviously after the Snyderverse, and so we don't know what's going to happen. They have said obviously the Flash is going to come out, and Batfleck is going to be in it. Michael Keaton's returning as a Batman as well.
We've got the Batman as well.
We've got the
Robert
Batman,
Pattinson.
And it's really good that you have these films, because what DC are going to be looking to do with the Flash and Flashpoint is creating these multiverses. So this will allow you to have all these different characters in there. So you've got the multiverse in Marvel, and you've got the multiverse in DC. It's going to bring all these different characters in there, because in Spider-Man No Way Home, is he going to be locked in the multiverse? Don't know. Is that why he can't get home? And then you've got Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange is going to be in Spider-Man, and I think Scarlet Witch is going to be in Doctor Strange as well. So everything that happened at the end of WandaVision. Yeah, you're going to have obviously her coming in to do Doctor Strange as well, and with her new powers as well as the Scarlet Witch. Maybe helping to unlock the multiverse to get Peter Parker back from Amazing Spider-Man verse. Who knows? I mean, Jamie Foxx has been announced to come into it as Electro, as he played in Amazing Spider-Man 2, and Alfred Molina is coming back to play Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2 as well. And
Toby and Andrew.
It's not being confirmed, but I would be very surprised if they're not in the film. But Alfred Molina says it basically takes part in the Spider-Man 2 timeline, this film. Like, he's playing it straight in. Like, they've
made him look younger.
They've de-aged his face. Cool. So, I mean, it's interesting to find out what's going to happen with them. But we're going to have the multiverse and the Flash and the multiverse and Spider-Man. This allows you to have different incarnations of characters. So, you're talking about Spider-Man. You could have somebody random like Chris Evans could come back, but he could be Iron Man. it could be anything. It's all different iterations. You could bring another character to be Iron Man, like Don Cheadle could be Iron Man in another multiverse, and that would make him Iron Man.
Kind of like what they did in the DC universe and the TV shows. There was that one crossover where they were in a different universe and the characters were playing kind of the different characters. So like Arrow was the Flash, you know, and vice versa, and that kind of thing.
So there's a many. Obviously, I'm not Kevin Feige, or I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but there's so many different, like, a way to bring these characters back. I know that they were going to have the New Mutants at some point, but obviously that film wasn't successful as much to obviously spawn a franchise. But they are looking at creating the young Avengers.
We did go to see a third film last year, and that was it.
We'll forget about it. It's fine.
Yeah, let's forget about it.
But like I said, you've got the Young Avengers, which should be coming out soon as well, and you could have new mentors from a different multiverse. Like you could have a new Iron Man to come and help them. But with the Young Avengers, I think there's only like a small cast, because apparently in the Young Avengers, you've got the WandaVision children that are supposed to be in it. You've got Haley Steinfeld from Hawkeye supposed to be in it.
Oh, I forgot Haley's going to be in Hawkeye.
Yeah, and you've also got who's the other one? Ant-Man's daughter. So there's all these different Young Avengers that have already had their moment that they could be, and Miles Morales as well.
Oh yeah. So let's just talk about then, like, obviously Marvel couldn't make its big impact on the cinema last year, but we did obviously get on Disney Plus. Thank God for Disney Plus, seriously. Well, thanks Dan for Disney Plus. Obviously, first of all, we had WandaVision. Now we all know that Black Widow was supposed to come out early last year, so we were supposed to get that before we got WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, but that's okay, you know. WandaVision came in, it basically saved the day for not getting any Marvel cinema releases, and it was weird at first. Everyone started watching the first couple of episodes and was like, what is going on? And really went short, and then suddenly everything happened and it was amazing, and then you couldn't get enough of it, really. And it was Agatha after all. Oh my god, Catherine Hahn cast in that role was absolutely brilliant. Like the whole way through, you're like, she's got to be significant in some way because it's Catherine Hahn. She's not just been thrown in there for absolutely no reason. So you were waiting for it. And then of course when Pietro came in, what's he called? Evan Peters. That was a big moment. But
then they ruined it.
By taking it away from us.
But there's some of the fun as well. Like, he could just be an actor in this multiverse, but in the other multiverse,
Quicksilver. But obviously that WandaVision came in and was like that nice filler in between films, and I hope they keep doing this in between the films over the years and give us these little mini series so we can see what the characters are doing within. So it help build their their backgrounds and their relationships and things. So I'm looking forward to seeing them what happens next for Scarlet Witch. And then of course we had Falcon and Winter Soldier most recently, which
again, there's only 6 episodes this one compared to WandaVision's 10 episodes, but like I said, it left off. I think WandaVision was completely different.
Oh yeah.
To Falcon and Winter Soldier because it took place in kind of its own world. Like it didn't really. Obviously, there was a little connection to the end of Endgame, and you had obviously the blip or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Cool.
So you had that little bit of the blip where I can't think of the character Maria coming in from it. So you had all of that, but then this Falcon and Winter Soldier takes a lot more from Endgame. You're actually seeing how the world has been since the blip and all of these flag smashers coming in, obviously, because they lived during these 5 years and how they felt the world was during these 5 years, and now everything's changed back again. So you got to obviously see the world properly rather than this fantasy world of WandaVision. So, and I think Falcon and Winter Soldier had a lot more politics behind it all as well, and there's a lot more stuff going on behind the scenes from that. And I think it was really good, Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think it was a bit slow at start, but the last 2 episodes were really, really, really good.
It was really great for character development and moving the next bit of the story forward for the next phase, because obviously when it first started, I did a little bit of research and everything, did a little bit of a video about who all these new characters were and what they were potentially going to be. And obviously Torres, Falcon's friend from the Forces, he's in the comics he becomes a version of Falcon. And obviously we know that Sam becomes a version of Captain America. So I was expecting certain things to happen. And obviously it ended, and we haven't got Torres as Falcon yet. But obviously we now know Sam is the new Captain America, which is fantastic. Absolutely love it. But it was great to see the development of Sam and Bucky's relationship as well. And I mean, that truly developed the whole way through. I mean, at the beginning, they kind of still didn't really want to be around each other too much. And then by the end of it, they're like brothers, and it's beautiful. I so want Bucky and Sarah, Sam's sister, to get together. I am so behind that.
It's a bit weird. So I know a lot of people saying that Bucky might be homosexual.
Really?
There's a lot of queer representation in there, maybe about that. But I mean, I think Sebastian Stan hasn't said anything on either side. He says
maybe
it just does what happens.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, happens, really. So I think the way he is, I think there was a little bit of, or shall we say, queerness between Sam and Bucky, and especially between Bucky and Cap in the films. The way Bucky was with him as well.
Interesting.
So I mean, there's all different stuff out there, but the Bucky and Sarah stuff was great.
Yeah,
it was funny, especially with Sam's reaction as well. But you don't know what.
Yeah, well, we don't. Well, we'll just have to see then. That's interesting. We'll have to wait and see. And of course, John Walker. I knew that he was going to become US agent, so that's what happened at the end. So it's going to be interesting to see then his progression, what that means for the films, if he's going to be coming into the films at all. But yeah, with regards to like Doctor Strange and stuff, I was never a big Doctor Strange fan of the original film. I like the character, but not the film. But I am actually really excited about the new film. I think it's going to be really cool. Yeah. Especially with all the things that could be going on between it. But obviously, as well as that, we've got all these new up and coming ones. We've obviously got Shang-Chi is the first one that's going to come out of the new characters. So really excited about that. The trailer looks really fun, lots of energy. Awkwafina, who's amazing, I love her. We've got Thor: Love and Thunder. What else have we got? Where's my list gone? Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which obviously is going to be interesting because we've sadly lost Chadwick, but it looks like possibly Shuri maybe is going to be taking on the mantle. Or
I wish they'd bring back T'Challa. Is that, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
No. T'Challa was Black Panther.
So I'm thinking of
you're on about
Killmonger, sorry.
Killmonger,
yeah, Michael B. Jordan. Like apparently he does take over Black Panther in the comics as well at some point. So it would be interesting if they did it that way. Obviously, he passed away at the end of Black Panther, so I doubt it. But and no one's really ever dead in Marvel and in comic books. I mean, it happens all the time. The amount of people that die and then come back. So I'm sure they can find a way to reverse time and do it. I mean, Loki died at the beginning of Infinity War, Endgame. I want to say Infinity War because it went into Infinity War.
Yeah, it was Infinity War.
And then obviously he's back to have his own TV show.
Yeah,
next month. So obviously after being come back from going in time and then taking the Tesseract and then
Wednesdays.
Exactly.
Right. That's going to be 9th of June. We're expecting Loki, so I'm excited about that. Other films, the Marvels, which I'm excited about the title of that.
TV show. Oh, Marvels is the movie. Yeah.
Marvels is the new Captain Marvel film.
Yeah.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, because obviously in WandaVision she started gaining powers when she went through the vortex.
Yes. You're right. Yeah, I remember that.
She started gaining powers, didn't she?
Yeah.
That's true. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, not too sure what to expect from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I mean, I like Ant-Man, the first film. The second film was okay, but we'll see.
Like I said, Quantumania, it can all relate to the whole.
It could still be linked.
Because again, we say like multiverse. I know Doctor Strange is called the craziness of the multiverse, whatever it is, but
multiverse of madness.
The multiverse of madness. But then you got the quantum realm as well. I mean, they're all different ways that they could be going through the quantum realm to get to these multiversal or vice versa and getting all stuck and messing everything up. So I think all these films are going to link in together.
Yeah.
Whether Doctor Strange is going to be the key between them all, I don't know. But...
Cool. Guardians 3, I just really want Thor to be joining the Guardians. That's what I want.
It's weird because I think Thor comes out before Guardians. Because Thor comes out in 2022, but Guardians comes out in December. So I think, in 2023, but I don't know if this is spoilers or not, but there have been strong rumours that the Guardians cast have recorded in Australia where they are making Thor. So, I mean, Thor did leave at the end of Endgame with the Avengers to make the Asgardians of the Galaxy, which would have been great. So I reckon we will probably see them for at least 10-15 minutes at the start of the film, and then he might just get sick of them and then decide to lose weight and then go on his own way after seeing Natalie Portman. So
I'm also looking forward to the Guardians holiday special because that's a nice little heart to the Star Wars holiday special. Because for me, when the Guardians first appeared, it just reminded me of Star Wars for sure, and I enjoy their cheesiness in the same way. And I'm excited, obviously, to see, as everyone is, what the soundtrack's gonna be like. If it's going to progress, because obviously he's already had the 2 cassettes that his mum gave him now. So now is the soundtrack style going to change? Is it going to move on from the 70s?
Tony Stark 3000 one. Volume 3000.
Volume 3000. I'd like to hear some 90s in there because he's gone and discovered what else there is that he's missed. But we'll see. We will see.
AC/DC. Tony Stark.
AC/DC. Definitely. So obviously we mentioned Loki, and we've also got Hawkeye coming up, and as you said before, Ms. Marvel. Both later on this year, not confirmed yet. So yeah, excited to see what we get from all those really, and where it's going to take us. To be honest. So yeah, I mean, I think there's one more thing that
I think the main thing is with all these Marvel TV shows and no cinema, I think Disney Plus has been kind of definitely Mercedes saving grace throughout it all.
I adored it.
Yeah, so you had all these Marvel TV shows, and then one reboot that came out of nowhere
just made everything life more meaningful once again. Not Marvel anymore though.
No.
Yeah, my God, the Mighty Ducks, Game Changers, and that episode, which was the week before's episode. Oh my God, so emotional. So obviously being born in the 80s but 90s kid growing up, absolutely adore the Mighty Ducks. It's one of my favorite films of all time. Well, the whole trilogy, I love it. Born in Bombay, and I've been dying for a Mighty Ducks reunion like my whole life. And I also said a couple of years ago, we need some Mighty Ducks pop vinyl figures. I would buy them all. And then Disney Plus came along and just made all my dreams come true. And we've had the new TV show Mighty Ducks Game Changers, which stars I actually don't know his real name, but the lad that's in Good Boys, who plays Thor in Good Boys. He's so funny, he's so cute and adorable, bless him. And he's in My Ducks Game Changers, the main. And then his mum is played by Marissa Tomei's Aunt May.
Yeah,
she plays Lorelai.
Lauren Graham.
Lauren Graham plays Lorelai in that Gilmore Girls show. And of course, reprising his role as Gordon Bombay, the Minnesota Miracle Man, Emilio Estevez. So exciting. The show has been really fun anyway, and then not this week's episode, but last week's saw the return of a bunch of the Ducks, 6 of them, in fact. So we had Guy and Connie. I'm so happy to see that they are married because they were such a cute little couple in the 90s. Obviously, Fulton, Knucklepuck. No, Knucklepuck was Keenan. Yeah, so Fulton, anyway, one of the Bash brothers. Aberman, Kenny Wu. And who else did we have? Oh, Adam Banks, Cakey, what a classic. So yeah, they all came back, and it was just absolutely gorgeous and so exciting. And the music was there, the score, and yeah. So yeah, I definitely recommend any 90s kids out there that you haven't realised that it's on Disney Plus. Mighty Ducks Game Changers for a bit of nostalgia and fun.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. And there's a lot of flashbacks and homages to the original The Mighty Ducks Are the Champions film.
Yeah.
So yeah, no Charlie Conway yet, whether he does decide to turn up later on, who knows, or maybe he does for a second season. I know there's a lot of nostalgia going on for these 80s and 90s stuff at the moment, with Peacock bringing Saved by the Bell, for example, and then most of the characters bar Screech returned for that one, and Mr. Belding didn't, who he did say he could be in season 2, but unfortunately he did pass away. So maybe if Game Changers gets picked up and becomes successful, Joshua Jackson might want to come back for the second season for an episode. I think there's definitely a lot more stuff for them to do with Joshua Jackson and Emilio Estevez because of the relationship that they had within the film, and you could see the disappointment on his face when they mentioned about Charlie for Emilio Estevez. So there's definitely still something there. I think it'll be a great cameo, especially under the wrap tag, if it don't get spoiled, if he does come back for the season finale or something, to have that moment, which would be great. So, I mean, there's only 10 episodes. We've only got 3 left, I think.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens with the Mighty Ducks Game Changers on Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney Plus has been great. So if you haven't got it yet, I would definitely recommend it because there's loads of great stuff on there. Loads of behind the scenes things for all your favourites, and loads of documentaries about the parks and just Disney generally, and it's fantastic. And now they've got Star on there as well, which is got loads of great TV shows and films that aren't necessarily Disney related, but more for adults as well.
And obviously all your Star Wars stuff, like Mandalorian and Andor, which is filming in our back garden.
Oh yeah, oh my god, yeah. So if we hadn't had like a minor family emergency, well, a quite big family emergency last week, and really bad weather and work and things, we would have been down Cleveley's Promenade filming and taking some pictures to show you guys, because yeah, the new TV series Andor, about Cassian Andor for Disney Plus, has been filming for a whole week down about 15 minutes from our house. And yeah, we've seen some really cool pictures that our friends have taken, so super excited to see that when it comes out. But obviously we've also got the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show for Disney Plus, which has got Hayden Christensen coming back as Vader. So excited. Yeah. So we're going to be covering all that kind of stuff on the podcast in the future, and YouTube video wherever you're watching or listening. So lots of cool stuff to look out for. We're also going to be venturing out to our favourite activity for the summer, and that is Comic Cons throughout the year, possibly some in the summer, definitely for the love of horror in October. So we will be reporting back on what's been going on there, any other news and things as well. Jamie here has a new podcast started as well this week, which is all about horror. So you want to tell us a bit about that, the title and everything?
Yeah, of course. So I'll be having a horror podcast with my good friend Emma, where we're talking all things horror. It's a bloody brilliant podcast. That's the name of it, and it also is a bloody brilliant podcast as well. I'm sure it's going to be. You'll be able to follow us on all social platforms soon. and we're just going to be talking about horror, why we love horror, and talking all things horror. And then we're also going to have a movie night with you all where we will watch a film and review it and talk about some of the cool stuff as well. So if that sounds something that you might be into, look for Bloody Brilliant Podcast because you'll love it.
And we're going to be on YouTube, obviously, and also the podcast to listen to.
All on Spotify and Apple. You're probably listening right now.
Yep.
Probably. So this, just don't listen to us at this point because you're already listening. But if you like the sound of us, why don't you watch us on YouTube?
Subscribe as well.
Yeah, subscribe, follow, like, comment, see what you want us to talk about. Do everything. I mean, we can do all of that as well. Obviously, we have this. We've also got the Greatest Movie Ever podcast as well, where we talk about some great films and rank them in lists as well. With this week, we are doing the musical month of May, shall we say. So it's all stuff to do with music in movies. So we've just done the top 10 greatest movie musicals. We've got the top 10 greatest music soundtracks and the top 10 greatest music scores for the month of May. So we are the Greatest Movie Ever podcast, so you can check us out on there as well. And then
separately I've got my other own little podcast and YouTube videos called Merc Space. Just my little area to talk about things that I love. Most of the time that's movies because I love movies. So I'll be doing like reactions to things as well. My Snyder Cut reaction is quite hilarious. I was a little bit excited. But yeah, so there's lots of other stuff you can check out if you are film lovers like us, and we'd love to get to know you guys and get involved. So get your questions in, get your ideas in, and we're going to be having guests on the show as well throughout, probably on our little film panel. So yeah, get involved.
Yeah, so I think that nicely wraps us up for the first ever episode of Cinelovers. I have been Jamie.
I will always be Mercedes.
And I'm sure we will see you next time.